Growing up in America, did your parents teach you much more about Jamaican culture?
Not really. It's not like they sat us down and would have a class and teach us, oh, this is how we did this, or et cetera, et cetera. It was just, we just learned things because of the way they were. My name is DeVay. I'm from the U.S., New York to be exact. I was born in New York to two Jamaican parents. I'm here in Uganda. I came here to meet a business partner actually because I'm into the sports agency business. We came here to scout football talent, so it's a lucrative business, and I came here to also use that as leverage to pump my other passion, which is motorsports. I love racing and drifting, so that's a little short summary of what I'm doing here and who I am.
You have been to Ghana before?
Yes.
West Africa?
Yes.
Okay, how did you see Ghana?
Ghana is a lot like Jamaica. It's extremely hot there. I personally prefer the food because it's spicy. I love spicy food. I think I inherit that from my Jamaican roots, but I like Ghana. I recommend people to visit Ghana.
Wow. Ghana is the only like West African country which maybe like you travel to like in
Yeah, so far, yeah, just Ghana. Just Ghana.
So far Ghana. And maybe like in East Africa? Uganda.
East Africa. So yeah, obviously Uganda, Ethiopia.
You have been to Ethiopia?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Kenya, Tanzania. Where else in the East? I think that's it. So far, 4 countries.
So far 4 countries?
Yeah.
Okay. What was like growing up in a Jamaican household?
I lived in New York. I was born there. My family moved to Virginia when I was about 4. So I actually spent most of my childhood in Virginia, in the South. But back to the question of what was it like? I would say very distinct disciplines that Caribbean people have. I don't really have much to say on that one, but it was definitely different.
Have you ever been to Jamaica before?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
A few times. The last time I was there was 2022.
2022?
Yeah, 2022.
Okay, and how did you see Jamaica?
Felt like home. A culture shock because I grew up privileged in the U.S., I'm not gonna lie. So things there are, how do I say? I don't know if destitute is the right word, but when you're up in the country, you might have inconveniences like water not working, electricity not working. So those are things I had to get used to my first time going there. But you know, after a while, as I matured, I learned to appreciate, you know, things like getting natural food and the culture that's there. There's a lot of good things you can adapt from having such a culture, you know. So.
Okay. Growing up in America, did your parents teach you much more about Jamaican culture?
That's a good question as well. Not directly, very indirectly. I would say it was it's in the food, the discipline that me, my siblings, and my cousins get. Yeah, not really. It's not like they sat us down and would have a class and teach us, oh, this is how we did this, or et cetera, et cetera. It was just, we just learned things because of the way they were, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. And what Jamaican food did you like growing up eating?
Oh, where do I start? One of my favorites is it's called cornmeal porridge. All my Jamaicans know about that. It's basically a sweetened spiced porridge. That's a breakfast item. It's a staple in the Jamaican household. That's one of my favorites. Curry chicken and rice and peas, curry goat, oxtail. It's a whole list. Beef patties. It's a lot. There's a lot.
Do you know the Jamaican language?
Yes, I do.
Which language they speak in Jamaica?
I actually recently learned that it's classified as a language, but they call it patois, Jamaican patois. Yeah, so it's like a alternative English. It's a lot of slang, and certain words are adopted from West African languages like Wolof and Twi. And certain languages in Nigeria. That's at least what I hear. So yeah, that's Jamaican patois.
Did you ever feel it different from your American friends before or because of your Jamaican background?
That is a good question as well. Not in New York, but my time in the South, definitely, because if you know or don't know, the South has a very racist history, and they're not as exposed to cultures outside of the States, especially Caribbean. So as a kid, my features stood out because I have very profound black features. You know, my lips, that was one of the things I used to get bullied about, my forehead. And most of my friends were white, so I always felt like a little awkward and even seeing the things that they ate versus the things I had at home was like a little different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say that experience was like.
What is the most beautiful thing you love about Jamaica?
How proud they are, how proud we are. Jamaicans are very proud people, and the island is so small, but the impact is global. I mean, you could go anywhere in the world and people know Jamaica. Yeah, so that's.
What's some of the Jamaican traditional habits your parents passed down to you?
Kissing my teeth. I can't do it now, my mouth is dry, but yeah, kissing my teeth, that's one of them for sure. What else? Nothing that's at the forefront of my mind, but yeah, kissing my teeth for sure. Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
How did you think, how do you think growing up with Jamaican parents shaped you today?
Gave me a unique perspective on life, just because I had a different background. I mean, I have a lot of exposure as far as different cultures around the world, especially because of my mom. She travels a lot as well, so traveling with her all the time, I was always able to see what it was like for different cultures, and how people went about their day-to-day in different places in the world. Yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, definitely a broader perspective on life.
Which African country have you traveled to so far?
So the 4 East African countries that I named, which is, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, Egypt, Morocco, Ghana. I might be missing one, but that's what I could remember so far.
Okay, did you see any difference between the African countries where you traveled to, or you didn't see any difference between the countries where you have been?
There's many differences. There's a lot more commonalities between the East African countries, especially Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. They're very, very alike, even the languages. Ethiopia is the most distinct. They even have their own, most people know, they have their own calendar. So I think right now they're in 2017. I might be wrong.
Now it's like 2018 in Ethiopia, maybe.
2018, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Morocco is very distinct as well. Their food is distinct. They don't eat a lot of rice. They eat a lot of bread.
Bread, yeah.
West Africa is a lot like the Caribbean to me, at least so far of what I've seen in Ghana. Yeah, I mean, the African countries, there's a lot in common amongst them, but also so many differences, and I think that's what makes them beautiful,
In America, where you're living now, do you have Jamaican communities there where you're living?
So many
Jamaicans.
So many. Especially in Mount Vernon, New York. There's a plethora of Caribbeans, the Bronx, Brooklyn, you name it. There's Jamaicans all over the country in the United States, even on the West Coast. I mean, there was a time I was in LA and there was a community there. Yeah, there's many. And not just Jamaicans, like the whole Caribbean, Haitians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, everywhere.
Okay, so how do you make money while traveling? Now you're not working, maybe? Or you're working currently?
I'm not working. So
you're not working?
I actually sponsor myself. Most times I work for a couple months while I'm in the States. I take advantage of the pennies there, and I use them to fuel my passion and put myself out there in the world. So yeah, I'm self-sponsored. Most people think I'm doing some tricks that allow me to travel, but in the reality, I'm just disciplined that I work a couple of months at a time, and I come here and I go back and I do seasonal jobs. But as of now, I'm trying to transition into having a business here. That way I can stay and go and come at my own leisure versus just when I just run out of money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So would you recommend Uganda? You have been to Uganda. Would you recommend Uganda to other maybe foreigners who would like to visit maybe in the future?
So far, yes. I would definitely recommend Uganda, especially to investors. There's a lot to invest in here, especially in natural resources. If you're into nature and wildlife, I mean, you got the gorilla stuff. I heard there's a lot of chimpanzees that are in the country. There's so many things to do. If you're a nightlife person, I mean, you got Kampala. Yeah, there's a lot to do here. I definitely would recommend Uganda to foreigners.
Okay, can you give us a shout out on how people can find you?
Yeah, of course. So my YouTube channel is Vevante, as well as my Instagram. So You can subscribe. Oh shit! You can subscribe, follow me there, and yeah, those are my handles.
Yeah.
You might have to do a couple.
Okay. Any message for the people watching us?
I would say travel to Africa if you ever get a chance, especially if you are of African descent. What you see in the media, I mean, it's very cliche. You see this on so many videos, but it's really true. What you see in the media is not 100% accurate. If you come here, your eyes will open, and yeah, it'll definitely change your life, inevitably. So I recommend that.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate so much to
Yeah,
have
man,
you.
no problem, no problem.